Hi, my name is Jay, and I am a multiboxer on the private server ITRWoW. This is a video that I promised I was going to do a long time ago, and I'm just a lazy bastard, and it's taken me this long to get around to it. Part of the reason is I don't even know where to start. I've never made videos. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just try this and see where it goes. I tend to talk too long. I tend to speak really quickly, so I'm going to try to keep this short, and I'm going to try to slow down because I know that there are a lot of people who don't speak English as their native language. So, without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I wanted to talk about is what I think is the most misunderstood part about multiboxing in general. And I'm going to pronounce it multiboxing and multiboxing. They're just, pronunciations are interchangeable. So, and what this misunderstood part is this third-party program that you need so your keystrokes apply to each open window. And I thought this might be best illustrated with Notepad. Got a couple notepads here. See, we're starting from the very basics because I know this is a frustrating thing to get started with. Especially if you've already been, one boxing for a long time and you've got a system down. It's really kind of a big change. Once you start getting into this, you start realizing how many things have to be compromised. Anyway, there I go with that rambling stuff. We all know how Notepad works, I hope, but, your keyboard input gets funneled into whichever window has the focus. I click here, 1, 2, 3, click here, 1, 2, 3, click here, 1, 2, 3. And they're not affecting each other, of course. This is what you learn the first 5 minutes you sit at a computer. But, let's see, let's just leave them scattered all over. So, here comes the multiplexer. Multiplexer, pronounce it however you want. And what this is going to do is get us around that limitation of the operating system, because Windows has that so deeply hard-coded that it's not really easy to get around. So, I'm going to open KeyClone. I got it over on my other monitor here, so I'll bring it over. So basically, I'm not necessarily endorsing it, but it's just very simple. It's kind of buggy in some ways, but it works. I like it. It's simple. It's an easy one to get started with. So, first thing I'm going to do is we got this add button. I'm going to hit add, and I get this targeting cursor, and I'm going to click on Notepad. And there, see how this gets added, unknown? And the reason I can certainly understand why KeyClone wouldn't recognize Notepad, because what idiot's going to normally multi-box Notepad, other than me? So, now watch, I'll add again, and we'll see the next Notepad gets added down here. Click, add, and we got them both. So these two are now linked. So watch when I hit 1, 2, 3, and watch both windows. See, when you click on one, it clicks on them both. They're just treated equally. And of course, the regular Notepad is not part of that whole party, so he gets left by himself over there. Other keys work too. FFF, GGG. Now, a few keys don't get sent, and that's set up by me. For example, I'll hit backspace here, and that doesn't get sent. And basically, I'll show you where that is set up. KeyClone has all of these buttons. I use it for just its bare, most essential functions, and especially for the purposes of this video. That's kind of the idea. I'll go to Setup. Again, tons of settings, some things I've played around with, but I don't use. But this is the one we're going for. Do not pass. This is a list of all of the keystrokes that do not get passed. They get just, even if the windows are linked together, they're just treated like normal. And some important ones are like W, A, S, D. Let's cancel out of here. WASD. WASD, however, 1, 2, 3. You know, I'll just roll my finger all the way up the numbers. And that's kind of important because if you have your lead character in it, who is of course its own account in its own window, if the rest are following him, and if you try to turn or move forward and they all try to move forward, follow will get broken. So that's helpful. So you can mouse, if you want to control another one individually, you can run over here and hit WASD and control them. Alright, now that we have the multiplexer out of the way, let's get down to actually doing something. I have a second install of WoW that I've put. I just have it open in a very small window in windowed mode, and of course it wouldn't be multiboxing with only one window, so I'm just going to click WoW again, nothing special, and it just opens a second window. So there we go. There are ways that in the future you can figure this out. You can get rid of this border. It's a little more efficient that way, and you don't accidentally, you know, quickly moving the mouse, resize, and like, oh crap. But I'm just going to leave those. In fact, what I'm going to do to save real estate is I'm going to grab it low here, just going to jam it up in the corner. Same with this one. Grab it kind of low, jam it up in the corner, so we don't have that X, you know, to close the window that I could accidentally hit. And of course I'm kind of a nerd, so my desktop background is just basically telling me what resolution sizes are. So here's about the halfway mark. I'm just going to drag it around here. Drag it around here. And look, if I overlap them, then that space between them doesn't really get wasted. I've gone ahead and I've made 5 accounts that I haven't done anything with yet. And this is a program I use for this, KeyPass. See, I just ITRWoW Multibox Tutorial 1, that's the login name. I made 5 of them in case we need them, but for now I'm just going to use 2. KeyPass is kind of a nice program. View edit entry. It just keeps your information. You can keep, you know, I don't even know what the password is. I just had it generate some alphanumeric nightmare that I'll never be able to remember, but I don't care because it's all stored in here. And what's cool about it is you can click on a window, click on it, hit Control V, and basically what it does is the key sequence, Shift Tab to jump back to whatever previous window was, type username, tab, type password, enter, and it'll do it really quickly. So check this out. I'll do this quickly on both of them. I click here, got my finger ready over to Control V, I go click, 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 click. So they're both logging in, and looky there, you know, a nice brand new account. So, let's create a couple characters. Now for this tutorial, I said I was going to do 2 warlocks. And of course we're going to want them to start in the same spot. I haven't even thought through what... Let's do alliance. Let's just start with, you know, they're in the upper left corner, so let's just start with humans. There we go. He's already warlock. Warlock. I don't care. Let's make 1 female, 1 male. I don't care what they look like. Actually, let's make this one male, because I just thought of a name. So I'm going to call this one Matt. No. Let's call this one Ben Affleck. And we'll call this one Matt Damonology. It doesn't make sense, but who cares? So, there we go. A couple new characters. Except, let's just log them in and see where this goes. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to need lots of action bars. So, interface, action bar, and as long as I'm in interface, I'm just going to set up things as I can think of them. This click to move on the mouse that I only have set on this one, we're actually going to change that to be in a macro, but when I right click, you run, And if you right-click on an object or a NPC, it'll automatically interact with them. And that, again, is done interface, mouse, click to move. Now, that's usually kind of a hassle. That's not a setting that people usually want, but in multiboxing it can be pretty important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a macro for it. In fact, I've got a few macros to make for both of these guys. Well, new, and I'll call it mouse move. And I'll do the same thing. Copy, paste. 2, 3, 4. Where is it? 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's the. This is the icon I like to use. The whistle. Okay, okay. And this is kind of a long, ugly, complicated macro. I've got it in my notepad. Whew, cheat sheet over here. I've got all kinds of stuff. But anyway, copy, paste. It's pretty long and ugly, but basically what it does is you can click it and it will toggle mouse move. If it's on, it'll turn it off. If it's off, it'll turn it on. And I don't have it bound to a key usually, so what I'm going to do is just hide it down here. Exit, exit. So it's on, click, now it's off. It's on, click, now it's off, click, now it's back on. So, that's an important one. And while I'm at it, there's another key binding I want to add, and I'll do this to both of them. Whoops, escape, escape. Key bindings, key bindings. I'm sorry, this is a long, painful, slow process. But we want to get to targeting functions, I think it is. Targeting functions. Interact with target is what I'm looking for. There it is, interact with target. About that far down. So, interact with target. I'm going to call it Shift G. Shift G. Shift G. Okay, okay. Return to game, return to game. So what's interesting now is, did he take the quest? What a dick. Abandon. Okay. And you know I can click. Now watch, here's something interesting. I'm going to click and I'm instead of right-clicking on him, I'm going to hit Shift G. And it just runs right to him and interacts. And I'm going to do one more thing as long as we're at it. On both of these guys, because I just like to keep everything synced up. Go to the top. This is just sort of, I'm going to give you kind of a preview trick here. A couple other things. But no, I'm sorry. Let's stick to what I'm doing. Move backwards. Now, Shift G, as I showed you, was what I bound to interact with target. I'm going to bind these two. Move backwards with Shift F. Move backwards with Shift F. Okay, okay. Turn, return. And what this adds a new little, so if I hit Shift F, so here's the reason I'm doing this. This will also attack an enemy. In fact, let's illustrate that with this poor little bunny. I hit Shift G. He runs over and attacks. Smack. Now let's say, and it'll work the same with this, but I'm going to hit Shift F. I'm going to hit Shift G, Shift F. And notice how it stops the run short. So the idea is if your group kind of gets feared in all directions, oh no, no, I can hit Shift G, Shift F, and look, I'm facing him perfectly. I don't even have to, you know, babysit that individual screen. All of your guys will do that. A couple other things I'm going to do. Okay, we all, of course, turn with A and D, but I'm going to choose the keys below those. Turn left, Z, turn right, C, turn left, Z, turn right, C. And let's give a little preview with the multiplexer as to why I do that. Get it in here, and remember, just like we did with Notepad, click target, click target. We got 2 World of Warcraft. Now I'm going to hit override, and what that does is temporarily suspends it. So that key binding, the reason for Z and C for the left and right turn. So here's A and D, here's C, or sorry, Z and C, Z and C. But now watch, if I just hit A and D, he turns. If I hit A and D, he turns. If I hit Z, they both turn, no matter which one I'm on. So if I need to control one, I can just do it as normal. If say an enemy is running by and we need to cast some spell that has a warm-up time, I can keep facing them. We need more macros, big time. One of them, new, focus, new, focus. I'll use this icon, this icon. Oh, okay, okay. Focus. That there. Slash focus. That there. Exit, exit. So now I could target this guy, hit focus, and he's now set as focus. And that is going to accomplish a couple things. We're going to add another macro. New. I'll go follow focus. What's a good icon? We'll just use this. It looks like the fingers saying, hey, come here. Okay, okay. Slash follow focus. Slash focus. We'll put this up here. Put this up here. Now this isn't normally where I keep my macros, but I'm just going to do this for the sake of simplicity. Exit, exit. And we're going to go back into key bindings, and I need to get key bindings. Now I don't normally use these bars. Let's see, which one is it? Camera functions, bottom left, bottom right. Right action button 1. I bet that's right action button 2. So what I'm going to bind it to is F. Oh, I was wrong. That's right action button 2. That's okay. F. Okay. Okay. Return to game, return to game. So let's just move that over here. Simple enough. So I can run over here and hit F, and it'll go to follow. And of course, when this is override, let's break follow. I can just hit F, and he comes right to me. So I've already got, we're doing the very earliest part of multiboxing. Now what spells are available at this level? looks like just shadow bolt. That works for me. We'll make a new spell, or sorry, new macro. And I'll just say SB. SB. Now this one, we're going to author this to pound show tool tip shadow bolt assist exists. Oh, sorry, I'm doing this wrong. I'm going by memory. At focus, comma, exists. The at focus basically is just shorthand for target equals focus. So assist that focus, and if it exists, that just takes an error out. If it basically means if you don't have a focus set, it just ignores that line. Whoa, okay, oh, look what I've already done. Here's a common mistake. I'm sitting here typing away while the multiplexer is running and it's moving over my keys. I need to do that. I think I should put a semicolon. Cast harm. Don't bother trying if it's not a regular target. Shadow bolt. Copy paste. Move that here. Drop this. This here. Drop this. Exit. Exit. Okay, I just hit follow. In fact, let's. Okay, and here's another. Oh, one more macro. I know I'm being a pain in the butt. We're going to do this new assist F. Well, let's use this icon because it's handy. Okay. This is just a separate button that we can use anytime we need the slaves to take your lead's target. Usually, our macro with the shadow bolt has that built in, but there's other times where you need it. Assist focus. Move this here. Move this here. Even though he's focused right now, he won't always be. I like to be able to switch leads whenever I need to. Key bindings. So I like to bind G. So we'll break focus, and then what I can do is I hit F. Oops, wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Mute button. F. So he follows me. Now watch his target. I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna hit G. And look how he took my target because of that macro. You can see it flashing. So I can clear the targets. He's following me. He's facing the wrong way. I can hit click G and see how he takes that. So now, this might be kind of a strange keystroke sequence, but watch this. What I can do when I want, see he's facing the wrong way, I can go, let's declare target, I can go click, and this is a fast key sequence, G, Shift F, G, Shift F, and look how I've got him facing the target that I want. So if this was an enemy, I could be ready to cast with the 1 button, and see I'm hitting 1, but of course in the macro, said cast if it's harm, so it's not going to cast. But it's also makes it easy to take quests. Since G is interact with target, I can click G, Shift G, he'll take the quest, he'll run up, take the quest. Yes. But there, we're multiboxing. See? If he breaks, if he runs somewhere else, I can hit follow, he'll come back and follow me. I don't have to target with both of them, I just click here, hit the number 1, and you'll see both of these trigger because we have the multiplexer helping. Whoops, target. And 2 shadow boats, and 2 more, and there we go. That is the basics. Alright, there are a couple more things that I want to do just so I don't go crazy here. I'm going to show the health bars just because that's a personal preference. 2, I like to have the camera zoomed way out. Just because, especially when you're running a group of characters, sometimes you really have to kind of macro manage from high above just to keep an eye on all of them. So I'm going to, where's camera functions? Camera functions. Zoom in, mouse wheel up. Whoops, where am I? Okay, camera functions, mouse wheel up. I don't like to just do that every time I move the mouse wheel, so I'm going to do Control Alt, mouse wheel up, Control Alt, mouse wheel down, Control Alt, mouse wheel up, Control Alt, mouse wheel down. And while we're at it, let's find targeting functions. Just because this is another personal preference of mine. Interface, targeting functions. Nearest enemy, I'll add mouse up, mouse down. Mouse up, mouse down, and I'm going to add something to players, target enemy players. I'll do Alt up, Alt down, next enemy player, Alt, oops. Sometimes you forget, you got to click first to get the focus from one window to the other, and then the second click actually counts. Alt up, Alt down. That's a good way to see through, if a mage puts up his little decoys, you can do Alt, and it'll just take the player and not his alts or decoys. So let's do that. Let's see how far camera will move out. That's okay, but I like it even a little bit farther than that. So I'm going to do /console camera distance max factor 4. Have I spelled this all right? It looks right. Copy that. Enter. Yeah, there we go. Get a nice. Now we can zoom. That's pushing it, but I'll stick with that. It's especially a little bit hard with the smaller windows, since I'm sharing windows on one monitor. But that's a little easier for me to keep track of. And let's turn mouse move back on. We will invite. We will set, nope, not him, it's him as focus. So I should be able to hit F, and he'll follow sure enough. Okay, and let's get out the multiplexer. So that way I don't have to move over to his window to get him to follow every time. So there we go. There he's following me. I'll break follow with, and then from this window, I can just hit F. He follows. Cool. And now let's Now I see we've got 2 bound to shields, so I hit that and notice that both shields go up for both of them. Let's turn on sound too. I don't know if it's going to pick up. I don't know if I've only got the microphone input routed in. But there. Okay. I'm going to click him. I'm going to hit the 1 button. And sure enough, very nice. And I see that they're... Oh, and once again, too, watch if I go click, G, Shift G, he runs to it. And I'll click Shift G again to get him to face the right direction with the interact with target binding that we did earlier. Cool. One of them's up a level. I'll hit F. He follows me. Now where is this quest? Oh, it was up here. And see how easy that is? I don't have to mouse over, I just hit the 1 button, and because of the macro that we set up, the assist macro, it does it. Now, there's another thing too. Notice, you can see there's one problem. Since he takes my target, when I hit, like G for example, in fact, watch the G on both of these. When I hit G, you'll see it trigger, and you'll see him take my target. Whoops, target, poof. There's a couple other macros that I want to do, and everything, the way I do it anyway, is all driven by focus. I'm going to do new, and I just call these macros, this is my first set of 5 accounts, this is only 2, so I'm going to call this 1.1, oops, and look, see it's typing over here, override, which gives this little mute that shows that the multiplexer is not broadcasting. So, see, I'm not going to edit out these mistakes because I think it's important to see not only how incompetent I am, but the kind of things you're going to run into. And I don't know, it doesn't really matter. I'll just take this. And what this is going to be is this. Okay, so when I hit this button, I want this guy to become focused to him. When I hit this macro, I want Ben Affleck to become focus. No, sorry. I want Matt Damonology to become focus to Ben Affleck. So this is my 1.1 for my first account, 1.2 for my second account to be lead. So for 1.1, I will go... Now, it's kind of redundant because this is Ben Affleck, but I will go focus Ben Affleck. And over here, 1. Oh, change name, because these are the same macros. I'm getting ahead of myself. Focus Ben Affleck. And I'm going to make, now I'm going to make my second one. 1.2, 1.2. We'll take that same icon. Now it will be /focus. How did I spell it? Matt Damonology. Copy, paste. And so what I'll do is I'll put this one here and this one here, and they'll be synced, so 1.1 will be in the same corresponding spot. Exit, exit. We gotta get that key binding in there. And where was that? It was down. Action bar. Okay, that's right action bar 2, so that must be action bar 1. And I like to put this on a convenient to hit key, but not one that you're going to hit by accident. So, and here's a little trick. I'll go So right action bar 1, waiting for the key input, right action bar 2, or sorry, same button, different character, waiting for key input, and I'm going to hit Control-Alt-1 because this is supposed to be for my first account, and you'll see them both Control-Alt-1. And for the, yep, and sure enough, there's 1.1. Oh, the screen shrunk down. I think that little dot there denotes that that's what the key is bound to. So, the second one, now I'll hit Control-Alt-2 and it should assign it to that. Control-Alt-2. I think it did. So I hit OK. I hit OK. So what that should do is I'll try now. I can hit Control-Alt-1, and sure enough, they're both focused on Ben Affleck. Now here's the moment of truth. I hit Control-Alt-2. There, they're both focused on Matt Damonology. Now that's just the simplest way to do it. I'm going to make one little deviation here. And when Ben Affleck is focused, I'm going to type clear focus. And notice how this guy starts turning when I'm hitting buttons over here. And that is really because he can still cast with the macro even without a focus set. And on the second one, when he is focused to the group, now there's some upsides and downsides to that. What I like about it is if I hit Control-Alt-1, poof, there's nothing there, so I can just visually glance up and go, okay, he's not got no focus, he's the lead. Did I enable mouse move? Let's enable mouse move. So now I hit Control-Alt-2, and you can see I can come over here, I hit follow, and he's following me, because if that makes sense. And of course, all the macros are written to be focus driven, so I can use him, target, hit 1, and he's just going to they're both going to fire on the same target. So that's why I do this. Now here's the other thing. If I forget who is who and I try to run and I hit follow, he gets whipped around, and I hope you appreciate my sound effects that I added. So fire, fire. Okay, but I'm going to go back here. I'm going to set him as focus. And let's go do this quest. Okay, there he is. And just for further illustration, I'm going to walk him back here. I'm going to target. I'm going to hit G for assist, which makes him grab my target. Then I'm going to hit Shift G for interact with target. And he runs up and takes it. So I can finish the quest now. Sure, I'll take whatever this is he's dishing out. Or can I? G, Shift G. There we go. That's more like it. That is kind of it in a nutshell. And again, I want to re-illustrate that key combination. Let's see, yeah, they're both set for mouse move. So let's just say we got randomly feared in all directions. I'm over here, I'm going to target him, but I'm facing completely the wrong way. He's going to target him, but he's facing completely the wrong way. I hit click, G, Shift F, 1. And notice how, without any work on my part, they both can target. So that's one way, because when you're doing PvP, multiboxing, everybody's going to fear you. It's just going to be a relentless stream of fears. They're going to fear you so much that you'll become immune to it, and then they'll come back and fear you some more. So you better learn to enjoy it and leverage it. And it's actually kind of nice. Sometimes they'll fear me in all directions, and I'll give it some time to get in this big open space, break it, G, Shift G, F, and they're all in this big circle, just hitting from all sides. Strafe. I'm going to do Control Z for him, strafe left. I'm going to do I'm going to do the same key for strafe right on him. So each of them, the same key will make them strafe in opposite directions. So I'll show you some of the advantages of that. You can I'll run over here, I'll hold Shift Z, and off they go in different directions. You can spread out that way. And notice when I try to jump over this fence, dum-da-dum-dum, he doesn't do it because he's dumb, but I have that key bound to Alt-X. And since the timing is slightly different, what I'll do is I'll go jump, and I'll go Alt-X, and he'll follow me. And see, I've practiced a little while, so I'm pretty good with this timing. Jump, jump. Click G for target, Shift G for interact with target. We'll both run up. Sure, I'll take that. Clicking again, G, Shift G. I'll accept and accept. Alright, there are a couple other things I had thought of. And mostly they're key bindings here. So let's go into our macros to set up the macros first. And a couple of other functions, we already have the follow focus and assist focus. There are another couple, this is sort of a maintenance one. And I don't have the multiplexer on, as you can see. There's also clear target. Target. I don't know what's a good icon to use for that. Now, this isn't one you need often, but sometimes they just seem to get confused and they lose track of what they're targeting and they won't, pay attention to what you're doing with the focus. So this is sort of like a reset button. Oops, what am I doing? See, there's another thing. I'm supposed to be dragging this to that window. Let's just stick with that for the moment. And we will have to invite him. You could also make a macro to invite your other characters in there. Oh, and let's fire up key clone. Add this window. Add this window. And I'll hit my macro Control Alt 1, which you should see focus appear over here, even if I'm on this screen. Control Alt 1. There we go. F, follow. He's following me. G for assist, and so now... Oh, and I forgot to do the binding. How ridiculous of me. Key binding. Key binding. Way down at the bottom here. And I do that... Alt F. You can see it appear there. Alt F. There, sorry about that. Making a long ass video, even longer than it needs to be. There's somebody. Let's finish this thought. Click G. Now I can hit Alt F, and it just gets rid of the whatever everybody's target, and you just get to start fresh. In theory, there's no reason why you'd ever need to do that. In fact, watch this. I'm going to attack this guy. I'll just click him. Oh, and now the other one's a little out of range. He'll get into range here. So in theory, you shouldn't have to do that. It'll just take the new target. But in practice, I've noticed sometimes you'll sit there and try to attack something, and this guy will obsess on your previous target. So Alt F is what I use. You bind any key that you want. And there is one more macro that I want to set. And this is kind of a nice convenience macro. I'll just use this icon for it. But it's basically, I'll just call it accept. Okay. Okay. And I've got it copied over here. Oh, and I noticed the sound from the game isn't funneling in, which is fine. Earlier I tried to turn the sound on, I thought it might work. It doesn't. Oh well. So, an accept, there's the macro. Let me format that a little better. Paste it into both. I'll move it over here, and I'll explain what it does. Oops. Accept trade. I'm going to bind this to a key, so I can just hit a button, and it will, anyone that's got an open trade window, it'll accept it. Repot me. That means it will, if you're at a battleground, it'll return you to a graveyard, or, you know, wherever you are. Or sorry, that will resurrect you if you're standing near where you died at after the timer goes off. This will just accept resurrection. And so it's important, so you have one key that will just make all of your characters do that. And that minimizes the chances in battlegrounds of you know, if you have to sit there and go, oh, click, and you gotta click on all your characters to, release spirit. There's a good chance they're going to end up at different graveyards, and that's not a fun thing when you've got a separated group. I mean, there's lots of ways to deal with that, but it's, no matter how you cut it, it's not fun. What I'll often do is say, let's run this guy way over here. Run this guy way over here. One thing I'll do is, okay, I'm fighting with this guy. Oh, and he's way over here. I'll just face him in the general direction, and I have a key on my mouse button, auto run. So here I am. I can just, oh, and let's unmute. And you can see out of range. And as he gets close, I just hit follow, and he tracks me. Oh, and, sorry, back to, I'm a little bit ADD here. Key bindings, key bindings. I like to bind that accept key to Alt-G. I'll click them both since we have the multiplexer running. Alt-G. And just as a quick illustration, do I even have anything in inventory? He does. Okay, so I'll just drag this ruined pelt onto him. I hit Alt-G, poof, they both choose it, and it's easy, you know, easy as anything. It just makes character trades easier, and of course, there's lots of other functions you could put in there too. You know, you could accept party invites, you could accept quests, but I'm not going to make this video any longer than it needs to be. Alright, I'm back, and as you can see, I've got a little bit of a different layout here with 3 windows. Also, there's people sleeping in the house right now. It's kind of late, and so I'm trying to talk quietly. I got the microphone right in my face. I'll try to keep the creepy microphone breathing down to a minimum, but I can't promise anything. So, one of the reasons I want to do this, I want to bring one more account into the action, and this probably will help to illustrate why I use this method I do with focus driven, because it makes it a little bit easier to add more characters, as many as you want. It's pretty expandable. Here I've got the current WoW folder that we're using. There's the W2F folder, accounts, and you can see the 2 accounts we've been using. And what should happen is WoW should create a Multibox Tutorial 3 folder when I do this. So I'm going to log my other ones in with good old KeyPass, as we talked about earlier. Now let's log in 3rd one. Nothing in there. Create a new character. We're going to go human. I'll go ahead and do female this time. Warlock. Let's just do a randomized name. I'm just going to shorten it. Let's see if it'll take val. Randomize, randomize, accept. What do you know? That name was free. Let's log in val. There we go, and you can see the folder has been created. I'm just going to log out right away. And now what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. I'm just going to go into the second guy. Let's look at the structure a little bit here. I'm just going to grab all of this stuff in Multibox Tutorial 2, and I'm just going to dump it right in Multibox Tutorial 3. Oh, god damn it. Oh yeah, copy here. Do this, copy and replace. Am I doing the right one? Yeah. Do this, yes. So I'm just overwriting all those new files it had created with this new stuff. Tutorial 3. Now the difference is it's got val here. I'm going to take all of the data in mat, copy, paste, copy and replace, do this, yes. Now, what I'm hoping this will do is it'll just import all of the account settings from these two, so I don't have to go through all the key bindings, and all the macros should even be in there. We'll see how this actually works out. Well, let's look at the macros. Hey, /m. Look at that. They copied over. Huge time saver. Like the rest of this stuff didn't, unfortunately, so can't win them all. Interface. Action bars. Everything. Oh good, and look, it even brought over the key bindings. So, this will make it a little easier. We'll just match things up. We got this here. We got this here. We got that there. And we may as well do this. And this. And replace the factory shadow bolt with our special macro shadow bolt. Now, of course, we have one more of these because we've got 1.1 and 1.2. So we gotta go. Oh, and people are talking to me. It's really rude, I know. I'm gonna have to ignore it right now, just for the sake of time. And this happens a lot when you're multiboxing. There's people that are gonna be chatting with you, and you don't want to be rude, but especially when the multiplexer is running, you try to type to somebody on one, and it's gonna make the others freak out with all your key bindings. So that sucks. But I'm just gonna move on. New. I'm going to go 1.3, 1.3, 1.3. Okay, and okay. So this one is focus bin afflock. That one's focus mat daemonology. This one's going to be focus val. Focus val. copy. And now remember the Val herself, I'm going to add at the end clear focus. Now this may seem silly because it's going to focus her but then immediately clear it, but I'm just putting that in as a space holder so for my reference, so later I can just glance in and see, okay, that's what this is. This is the macro that brings her to focus to everyone else, but it's her macro, so I'm going to clear it. So that's the only reason I do that, as silly as it seems. And then we will add this to the third, add this to the third, add this to the third. Add, and add, invite, invite. Okay, and now let's see how this works. I'm going to hit Control-Alt-1, and there they go. Those two have him as focus, and I can glance up, see he's got no focus. I know he's the lead. Hit Control-Alt-2. Oh, and something went wrong. Oh, and I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. Let's override this temporarily. It's because, remember, he has clear focus and I copied from him, so she inherited his clear focus. I'm going to not edit out this mistake because I think it's important to see these pitfalls. Okay, re-enable the key clone multiplexer. Try this again, Control-Alt-2, and there we go. Matte Damonology, and then if I go 3, Control-Alt-3, oh, and I didn't bind the key. Key bindings, key bindings, key bindings. Okay, so waiting for input, waiting for input, waiting for input, Control-Alt-3. There. See, I'm trying to go fast, so I'm making these mistakes. Okay, now Control-Alt-3. And there, Val is lead to the others. So what this accomplishes, she got mouse move? Yeah, he's got mouse move. So when I hit F for follow, they follow her. She's the lead. I'm going to use that spread out macro. I'm going to target, hit 1. Since she's the lead and it's her target, everybody fires. And the target is very unhappy. But that's that. So I think we're just about ready to wrap up this video. Thank you very much. Sorry for the rambling, and I hope this is useful for somebody. Take care.